Alright, I know I'm a bit late, but hey, just be glad I'm covering it at all. I know everyone has probably already moved on to things like Dualisaurus, but I think there's more to talk about for this. So in this video, I'll be talking about the history and new news about Spinosaurus. Alright, so first, Spinosaurus was discovered in 1915 in the Kemkem group in Morocco. For a while, it was often mistaken for Spinosaurus aegypticus, with Ernst Stromer describing many specimens as Spinosaurus. However, since Spinosaurus was discovered, our understanding of it has changed drastically. I mean, originally we thought Spinosaurus looked like this. Now we know it was probably semi-aquatic, an ambush predator, and might have been semi-quadrupedal. Because of all the reanalysis of Spinosaurus specimens, inconsistencies began to be noticed between specimens. This all came to a head when in 2013, scientist Adrian Wimmer reanalyzed some Spinosaurus material and deemed it different enough to be its own genus. This would be known as Spinosaurus vijaticus. Wimmer described it as its own animal due to the lack of arm and leg material found alongside the specimens, and due to the roughness on the snout, which Spinosaurus did not possess. This roughness could be an indicator of muscle attachments that could have formed a trunk. Spinosaurus most likely filled a similar niche to elephant seals, being incredibly great divers. Wimmer also suggested that the proposed trunk could have been used to grab fish while hunting. In the paper, he also suggested that the sail on its back could have been a hump to increase surface area and absorb heat, or for fat storage. Wimmer also pointed to muscle attachments on the tail and chest as evidence that it had a fluke-like tail similar to that of mosasaurs, and flippers on its front limbs. He also suggested that it might have had reduced hind limbs similar to whales. None of this was definitive though, as no arm or leg material ever existed at the time. The paper didn't get too much attention at the time, and the proposed Spinosaurus would go under the radar for many years. The only notable thing to happen to Spinosaurus around this time would be an appearance in the 2015 movie Jurassic World, where it appeared in a flashback scene where it strangely replaced the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. This would all change in 2019 when paleontologist Chris Masno would describe a new species of Spinosaurus, naming it Spinosaurus vulgaris. This new species was larger than Vijaticus and became an instant sensation in paleontology. The naming of vulgaris gave Spinosaurus the attention it needed, and most people agreed with Wimmer and Masno's conclusion that it was distinct enough from Spinosaurus. Now we go to 2026, when a new Spinosaurus species is described. Which is pretty cool, but you've probably heard all about mirabilis by this point, and you're not here to hear me talk about it. But I'm here to suggest that it's actually a species of Spinosaurus. Now, bear with me for like 5 seconds, just have an open mind, and hear me out. Now, the holotype of mirabilis was entirely skull material, and all the other specimens don't show any leg material. Ignore this is liberal propaganda. But there's more. Now, the crest could have been used for mating, but I think it had a more abstract use. I believe that the crest could have been used similar to a narwhal's tusk. I think it might have been filled with nerves to help the animal detect changes in pressure and temperature to prevent the animal from becoming cold or diving too deep. It could also serve as a mating display along with this function. Mirabilis also possesses divots on its snout. Now, non-believers might say, oh, those are just electrosensory organs so they can detect fish in murky water, but I say they look awfully similar to muscle attachments. This means that there's evidence Mirabilis might have had a trunk. Meaning, based on this evidence, I personally believe that Spinosaurus mirabilis is actually Spinosaurus mirabilis. Here's my illustration of it. Paul Sereno, you have 25 hours to respond, otherwise I'm going to assume that you've conceded to my claim. Now, you're probably wondering where it falls on Spinosaurus phylogeny, and that's a really good question. So, Spinosaurids are split into two main groups, the Baryonychans and the Spinosaurians. Baryonychans tend to be smaller, lighter, and lack sails, while Spinosaurians tend to be heavier, have sails, and were on average much, much larger. Obviously, there are exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, this is a good baseline. Now, as you probably already guessed, Spinosaurus is a Spinosaurid, and is most likely closest to Spinosaurus due to how many similarities they have. But they're not as similar as Sigilomastosaurus and Oxalia, because those might be the same as Spinosaurus. That's why Spinosaurus is closely related to Spinosaurus on most cladograms. You know what? Actually, I completely forgot about this until now. The leg material is real. The liberals were trying to hide it from you. The leg material means that Mirabilis is actually the most basal member of Spinosaurus. So Mirabilis is closest related to Spinosaurus, whereas Vijaticus and Vulgaris are descendants of something similar to Mirabilis. Hopefully this cleared everything up for you on where mirabilis should be placed.